in the competition between myself, my co-host Barbara, and the weatherman. He didn't stand a chance at all. It is Tuesday, October the 5th, and, well, let me do this.
Galaxy 107fm.
Now, if your phone's pinging off the hook right now, yes, Facebook and all those platforms are back up again. Nice to have them back. My goodness, everybody panicked. I told you, just relax. Believe me, it's going to come back. It's not going to be forever. You know what I mean? But we were getting emails and phone calls all over the place today, panicking about their Facebook. Addicts, good on you. Nice to have you along anyway. And it is a pleasure to have everybody along this morning, because today, believe me, you're going to absolutely love this. Casey Muessigmann is joining us. Now, you may remember him, yes, from The Voice, Season 3, by the way, and we're going to talk about that down the track. But first of all, let's kick it off with the title track of his album too, Between the Rows, right here at Galaxy. That gives us a couple of minutes to get to know each other, Casey.
Beat your buddy.
How's the COVID thing going where you are?
You know, it's weird because in America, there are 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Iowa, the one that I live in, it shut down for a few months, and then the governor was like, well, okay, we can't do this. We're not making any money. So we've been pretty wide open for a while. Other states are still forcing you to wear masks and stuff, but not Iowa. I mean, for a long time, the only two places you really had to wear a mask were to go into grocery stores, and then like to walk into certain establishments. But I mean, Iowa's wide open, man. Like, and I've been playing shows. I think we were only out of work as far as playing shows for a couple months. And then people started hitting us up about playing backyard parties and stuff like that. And I was like, I mean, yeah. So, you know, dude, I kind of felt like I was bootlegging, you know what I mean? Like I was out playing. Like, if I knew about it, I feel like they'd be pissed, but it is awesome, you know? And people are so hungry for entertainment that every concert you play now, people are just going crazy. And they come in big numbers, you know? Mm-hmm. It's pretty awesome.
Believe me, bro, I fully understand. Barbara manages a entertainment company that brings bands into the country. Now, we've been locked down now from doing that for about 2 years. We're not, you know, we haven't had anybody in. Which, and believe me, if you make your livelihood from this game, not good. I've got to be honest. So we've felt it, and literally right now we're at level 2 here in New Zealand. Auckland's still, our biggest city by the way, is still in level 4. There's been little dribbles of it getting out, but we're all over it. I will admit that. But you know, it's got to a feeling here that if you don't have your injection, you're a pariah. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. It's forced, basically. But it's up to you to have it. Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Let's go live, bro.
Everybody goes, 'cause everybody knows the good times will roll. I'm free to roll.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today I'm elated. I really am. First of all, I'm really happy to be able to be back on Facebook Live again. If you're going to watch this a little later on over there on YouTube, you know what to do, right? No, you do. You really do. Sub, thumb, bell. Bell notifications for when we have important people like Casey Muessigmann joining us, coming out of Iowa, and believe me, it is an absolute pleasure to catch up with Casey. Now, we will talk about The Voice Season 3, you know, Blake Sheldon's team, all of that. But first of all, let's get to know Casey all of a sudden. And let's start off with, Casey actually started singing at a very, very young age, of course, in church choirs, stuff like that. It has progressed from there. Now, how many artists do you know that start in church choirs? Believe me, lots and lots and lots of them. That is where you do your grassroots stuff. You really do. And then you move up. You really do. And I'm so pleased that Casey's followed through from start all the way through, literally. Okay, had a hiatus in there for a number of years, but he's back into it again and showing just how classy Casey Muessigmann is. Welcome to Galaxy, Casey.
What's going on? How we doing?
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm very, very humbled to meet you as well. And, we're sort of getting to know where New Zealand is. We were trying to establish that. Are you familiar with Australia?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you know that little island at the bottom of Australia, they call it Tasmania.
Yeah.
Well, just recently, scientists have actually found out that it doesn't belong to Australia. It actually is part of the continental shelf that is belonging to New Zealand. Now,
Oh, really?
I got in touch with their Prime Minister, Morrison, over there, sent him a text and an email, which he totally ignored, I can tell you that right away, saying, hey, listen, if it belongs to New Zealand, therefore, all those taxes that have been gained from it since day dot, we want returned, please.
There you go.
So you can understand why he hasn't returned my calls or anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, we don't
Keep
know.
that-
Don't know about that one, believe me. But I've also, a couple of years ago now, before we found out it was part of the continental shelf of New Zealand, April Fool's Day, of all things, I got to be honest with you, I threatened Australia that I was going to get the Navy and tow it back to New Zealand. Now how ironic is it that we actually own it in the first place? Okay.
Oh, my God.
But that's just my sense of humour, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm up for all sorts of shenanigans, as you may find out through this, believe me. And we're, here in New Zealand, I got to warn you straight away, we're up to the kind of relationships with people, whereas A, if it doesn't scare you every day, you're not living, and B, you got to get a laugh out of it. You know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. I hear you there.
It's all good humour at the end of the day.
Yep.
Even though I did ask you if you've heard about New Zealand, and, well, obviously hasn't, what about Lord of the Rings? Ever seen it?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah?
definitely.
Okay, well, that's New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yes. In fact,
Oh,
here's one for you.
beautiful.
The producer of Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, I know him very, very well. In fact, I went to university with him. I struggle to call him Sir Peter these days. I really do. he likes it, but I'm sorry, Pete. I can't do it. No matter how much I try. Believe me, I've been on the source with this man. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At college.
Well, it was only a few weeks ago, if you can tell. This is what radio does to you.
Yeah. That's actually, I went to college for corporate communications, so I did radio in college. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I got some war stories about some of those broadcasts. Good Lord.
I'm right there with you, bro. Believe me, I've lived it all my life. I really have. So, shenanigans? Oh, hell yes. Believe me, my first radio station, would you believe, was on top of a mountain in the snow, called 2XO in the snow. Yeah, for months. Literally, they'd put you in the shack with another guy, a double bunk, right? Loaded with food, everything you needed, completely loaded up, just to entertain the ski bunnies that came to the chateau. Yeah, and it would be heard in the local cities just down below us, you know what I mean? But we were stuck up there, literally 2 months, go there, that's it. And I'm sure my professors at the time were loving the idea. We got rid of the guy. Literally. But yeah, that was one of my very early radio days back in the day. Now, Casey, we open the show Between the Rows. Now, this is not only the title track, but I'm absolutely fascinated with this song. Tell me a little bit about it. How did you come to the lyrics of that?
So when I graduated from high school, there wasn't much to do. I come from a relatively small town in Iowa, and we used to have this hunting shack that was about 12 miles east of town. That had a long gated entry drive so the cops couldn't find us. And we went out there and we did all sorts of stupid stuff. And I guess our code way of saying that was we were going out between the rows. And I don't know, I got into a co-write with my producer and Jeff Dayton, another writer down in Nashville. And they just asked, what do you want to write about? And I said, honestly, I think I want to write about home. And so I threw out the idea, and that little hunting shack, I learned a lot of lessons out there. That's where I finished my first bottle of Black Velvet. That one hurt. That's where I learned how to shotgun a beer. That one was kind of fun. And that's where I shot one of my buddies in the ass with a Roman candle for the first time. So we got a little wild out there, man, and it was fun to write a song about, I'll tell you that.
You know, I love the Roman candle deal. Done it myself. In fact, I put a couple of barrels together and a bit of wood and put them, we used to have war games with the stuff, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
I knew that I was pretty comfortable with fireworks simply because, you see, my father was a shock fire and an explosives expert, so I played with bigger bang stuff than just the ordinary, commercial fireworks. It was, believe me. I grew up sometimes absolutely terrified, I've got to be honest with you, when that stuff goes off. And if you're not expecting it, believe me, you can duck and cover really quickly. And my father, here's one. Are you familiar with Australian I'll get onto that later, literally. But believe me, my father used to go fishing in one of these little, these days we call them tinnies, it's a little aluminum, I think you call it. We call it aluminium boat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Back in those days, we had an old wooden one, literally. And where my father worked way up in the mountains, there used to be huge lakes up there. You know what I mean? So he'd say, we're going fishing. And I was like, oh, sweet, we're going fishing. He'd throw the boat on the roof of the car. And we're driving down the road, and I'm going, where's the fishing poles? He goes, you want poles? Yeah, okay. And we get up there, out in the middle of the bloody lake, he's got his hat on, Crocodile Dundee is the guy, you know what he looks like, right? This was my father. Believe me, my father was like that. Stogie cigar, right? And he'd bring out a stick of dynamite, chop it into three, put in a deckhead, and then he'd light the bloody thing, and he'd be sitting there talking to you. You're out in the middle of this lake, this land nowhere around, and he's waving, all you could see is this wick going down. You're following it intently, and he just flicks it over to one side. Boom! Much like the old warships trying to hunt the submarines, you know what I mean? Boom! Up she comes. The old man looks at me and goes, well, okay, I got the fish, you go and get them.
Jesus.
That was my dad. Bro, it happened. It really did. That was my childhood. Literally, we had a boxing ring in our backyard.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah, we did. 4 brothers, right? You got an issue, you know where you're heading, right?
Yep. Take care of it. Yep.
Yeah, well, he was a military man. So we were brought up pretty, straight and narrow.
Tough. Yep.
Well, he thought we were. Believe me, the mischief we got up to, and the amount of police officers that used to wait for us outside our house was it was incredible. It really was. We used to invent ways of making mischief. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yep. The old man says, I've never taught you this stuff. How do you think of this stuff? And he says, well, actually you have, because it's all your psychology in reverse. Yep. We just applied reverse. Reverse technology. Now, I got a fan question for you, my friend, and believe me, there's a young lady coming out of Germany right now. Her name is Tina. She asks, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? But more importantly, Casey, do you respond?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Barbara was telling me that she tried to hit up my page and I didn't respond. But yeah, I'm the one that runs all my pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And I try to be pretty good about responding to everybody that hits it up. Just send me a message and I'll get a hold of you. And I don't know. I like hearing from people. I think it's cool, especially when they're from different parts of the world, because, I mean, you can meet people at a concert 15 minutes from your house, but if there are people 1,500 miles listening to you, that's just really cool to me, I think that's awesome.
Well, Casey, believe me, we're on the other side of the world, and we are absolutely covering the world, circumferencing it, and believe me, I'll let you know the numbers after we finish this interview. You will be impressed. Sean Smith is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Sean, and nice to be back on Facebook. The whole world went down there. Bit of an issue, believe me, and people were actually panicking about it. Crazy. Which is true, it really is. You would be surprised how many people actually emailed us saying, am I doing something wrong, or is Facebook, and I'm going, on the radio, we had to keep people informed hour by hour. What was it, about 5 hours? It was down, something like that. But
really?
Yeah, literally.
Must be crazy.
I don't know.
That's what?
There's a lot of Facebook and a lot of Twitters, and there's a lot of, all the other medias out there. Just people just hooked on it all the time, literally. Fortunately, I don't find the time. Even, when I asked you, do you respond? Unfortunately, I don't get a chance to. You know what I'm saying? I start work about midnight every night, and I'm lucky to get home by about 8, 9 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
That's my day, and I don't have time to sit down and peruse what's happening on the multimedia. So I actually have a Barbara for that.
Well, that's teamwork, man.
Everybody needs a Barbara. They do. Believe me, she's indispensable, and I'm so pleased to have her as a co-host here at Galaxy as well. I love Jesus. Really? Now tell me, because you drink a little, right?
Yeah, I mean...
is it the drink a little? Is it the drink a little that gets into the I love Jesus, or is it the I love Jesus and by God I better go and have a drink now?
No, it's more of a all right, yeah, I know I get a little rowdy sometimes, but yeah, I love Jesus. The idea for that song actually cracks me up. Because it's the truth. I can't tell you how many times I sat hungover as hell in a church pew, just trying to get through the service. But I was happy I was there. I have a really strong relationship with God, and that's not for some people, but that's okay because it's for me. And ever since I embraced that relationship, my life has improved tenfold, if not 100-fold. And I couldn't be happier. And the fact of the matter is, man, I love whiskey. I ain't gonna lie about it. Like I do. A girlfriend will be over here in a little bit. She just picked me up 2 bottles of this hand-selected barrel Crown Royal. Oh, good God, it is so good. I just love a good whiskey or a good bourbon. And I tried this over here in America. Kenny Chesney came out with this Blue Chair Bay rum. And I just wanted something to sip on. And they have a key lime pie rum. Oh my God. It's awesome. It's so good.
Interesting.
I drink a little.
I'm going to have to get you to send me a couple of cases. Literally.
It's good. It's good as hell.
Very, very cool. Now, at the same time, Casey, here in New Zealand, and we are going to cover, maybe if you would consider coming to New Zealand once we open up our borders to play in front of New Zealand audiences. Just got a little thing I want to have you on about, first of all, before we get into the song. Is you've played with and on stages with people much like Granger Smith, Jada P. Mel Haggard, Scotty McCready, Craig Campbell. Craig Campbell, is that Glenn's son?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
He's underappreciated. He's really good.
Okay. Randy Houser, Eli Band, believe me, Eli Young Band, lovely. Thomas Wright, Blake Shelton, who we're going to talk about very shortly, Lee Bryce, Jake Owen, Kenneth Smith, Chris Cagle, and the Florida Georgia line. Who's missing?
Who's missing?
Who's missing? There's one very, very important one there, and give you a hint, you're talking to a New Zealander.
Keith Urban?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, guys, like, I feel like I should know this.
Except-
Chris Young is another big one missing for me. I love him. But yeah, Keith's a monster. I've seen Keith Urban in concert, and I was like, holy cow. He's just an animal.
Yeah,
He's
and
awesome.
believe me, he is a Kiwi, married an Australian, and made it out of out of the atmosphere altogether. Literally, he made it over in Canada or somewhere like that. First of all, you know what I mean?
He's talented as hell.
Yeah, and he too is not returning my calls, which is really weird because I mean the Kiwis, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, just a little information right there as well. Kiwis. I was talking to a Canadian the other day, and he says, I said to him, do you know much about New Zealand? He goes, yeah, I know you're Kiwis. I went, right. Do you know why we're called Kiwis? He goes, it's after the fruit, isn't it? And I went, no, it's actually the kiwi is our national bird. I said,
Oh.
yeah. I says, much like your national bird. He goes, what's that? And I said, the mosquito. Literally. But yeah, our national bird is actually a flightless bird. And, just a tiny little thing. I got to be honest with you, most Kiwi males, eat root, shoots and leaves. Mm-hmm. We do. He'll catch up on that one. Now, Casey, I've got to let you know that you'll get a copy of everything we do today. Literally, we're going to do some crazy photos after we do this interview. Barbara's also going to put everything together, make a movie. It's the raw version's going to go on YouTube. The movie will go on YouTube. It's being recorded on Facebook Live right now as well. And then something special, Casey. We're going to make it into a cartoon for you.
I'm in on that. That sounds cool.
Which is weird. I mean, people go and watch the raw version like what we're doing right now. They watch that. Then I've had people go back and watch the cartoon versions 20 and 30 times. It's like, what the... That's nuts. They love the cartoons, they really do. And I've got to be honest with you, Casey, one of the few things in the world that actually makes me look good.
A cartoon?
Yeah, believe me.
Oh, alright. Cartoons are great.
I got the
I always
perfect...
like
Well, I got the perfect face for radio, you know what I mean?
No, I feel you on that.
No, yeah, thanks. Cheers. Anyway, let's get it underway right here at Galaxy. Is, of course, Casey Muessigmann, and I love Jesus right here at Galaxy. Gosh, it's hot in here. Wow.
I had to turn my air conditioner back on. Last night it was 47 degrees in Iowa, and right now it's like 88. Like, the
Okay.
temperature here so much.
It's 67 here at the moment.
Well, that doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Okay, but believe me, that's on the outside. On the inside, we've got about a dozen computers or so rocking off right here. And
That'd get hot.
and the wife won't let me get a pretty little girl to come and fan me.
There you go.
Yeah, she fired the last one.
I got my dog 5 feet away from me munching on a bone. He's loving it. He's living his best life right now.
Nice. I've actually got one sitting here next to me as well. We at night time we have a couple of guard dogs in here. And believe me, I wouldn't want to have anybody break into this place because these girls don't like anybody. Literally, you know what I mean? If they don't, they're a pit bull mastiff cross kind of. They are big.
Big pooch.
They are huge. Yeah, they're about 40 kg each. Very.
So what's that translate? Pounds.
Lots.
That's-
Heavy.
80 pounds.
Something
70 pounds?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Honestly, I just don't want to pick the bloody things up. I don't.
No, you're too little.
I am.
You're
Don't
tall
bowl
and
me over.
skinny.
Well, that's what their job is anyway. They do their job well because.
Absolutely.
Oh, here's one for you. I was feeding one. We're in a little forecourt kind of area, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the CBD, and I was feeding one of them the other day a big bone, literally outside, and it was time for the kids to go off to school, right? And these 3 kids are walking past, staring at the dog, who's gnawing away on this bone like crazy, right? And the bone's about this big, and they're looking at me and looking at the dog, and I says, "Don't worry, we'll have another postman tomorrow."
Oh my God.
It's true.
Have seen him somewhere in the middle. I love Jesus, but I drank a little. I love Jesus, I love Jesus, but I drank a little. I'll fly away. Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Absolute pleasure to have everybody joining us this morning. Thank goodness that Facebook is back up again. Sean Smith, love it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, me too. And, well, Casey, it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Now, you've been around the circuit a little bit. In fact, you've been on some of the biggest stages in the world. And, of course, reading here, you know, Thomas Rhett, for instance, Blake Shelton, Lee Bryce, Jake Owen, huge names. Now, have you actually met these people? Well, you know, I'm not going to say anything about Blake Shelton just yet, but have you actually met these guys? Have you spent time in the green room with them?
Yeah, I meet them backstage. I mean, all those guys are nice. I mean, the thing that always blows my mind is people are like, "Oh, what's so and so like?" The fact is that they're just a dude. You know what I mean? Like, they're just a dude who's trying to eat a chicken wing backstage. You know what I mean? Like, they're just trying to grab a beer and grab something to eat quick. So, like, I don't know. I've never been the kind of person to get starstruck. So usually I'm just like, "What's up?" And they're like, "What's up?" Then, you know, you kind of shoot the breeze for a while. But, I mean, that's one thing I'll say about a lot of the performers I've met. They're just really laid back, good people. And that's, you know, it's kind of refreshing because the level I'm at, the regional, trying to take the next step, you get a lot of guys that are really full of themselves. And they're really rude and they're hard to work with. And it just doesn't make sense to me because, like, you should want to be easy to work with. You know, you should want to be a good person. You should want people to want to spend time around you. Like, it's not a blessing that someone gets to spend time around you. You know what I mean? It's a privilege to get to spend time around people in this industry, and it's a privilege to have people want to hear what you have to say. So you better cherish it. You know, I definitely do. And I feel like a lot of those guys have maintained a certain level of humble, and it's pretty awesome when I get to meet them and play with them. And I don't know, man, we always have a good time. I'll tell you that.
You know, I said something like that to Cher once. I was her engineer. She was doing the retirement tour, and here in New Zealand, well, we got to meet each other, and she was a bit, you know, full of herself. And I says to her, you know, yeah, you know, be nice. And she goes, "Fuck that, I'm retiring." Fair enough, okay, I get it. Whereas, well, Tina Turner, well, she just said to me, "You better be good to me," which is true too. She got me kicked out of one of the most prestigious hotels in Auckland, having a pillow fight. Would you believe? Feathers everywhere through the through the ground floor entryway, and I got shoved into a well, one of these indoor fountain things, literally. So who do you think they're going to kick out? They're going to kick out the legs, or are they going to kick out the engineer? Yeah, I had to go and find somewhere else for the night, literally, which was fun. So, believe me, not only a studio engineer, but a front of house engineer as well, have worked with some of the biggest bands in the world. I literally have. And Casey, when I heard your music, now, I got to be honest with you, I'm not one of these guys that watches The Voice or watches America's Got Talent or anybody else's Got Talent or anything like that, simply because I'm too busy. I've got to be honest.
Like it.
As an engineer as well, I put myself through hell because when I do watch these things, I pick out faults and bits and pieces. You know what I mean?
Honor. Yeah, I get it.
Only because there's 40 years of experience in here. You know what I mean? And, you know, I get it. You know, stars are trying to bust their butts to go anywhere to get recognised to be able to make it in the industry. I get that, I really do. But as an engineer, believe me, I find the faults and just pick on those like crazy. I'm one of these very, very critical kind of guys. Mainly because I've worked with some of the best, as I say, in the world and travelled around the world with some of the best as well. But when I first heard your music, and Casey, I got to let you know, it's not easy getting an interview here at Galaxy. Believe me, it really, really isn't. And I want to thank Paige Gregory. Paige is she's a very good friend of ours. She really is. But that means nothing when it comes to the selection. And I'll tell you why. We get about 30 to 50 bands a day, well, Barbara does, wanting to do the interviews, wanting to be promoted around the world on a global platform. And then, well, we've only got a certain amount of time in a week to be able to do these things, you know. So we've got to be very selective. Then Barbara takes it to production and Barbara sort of work it out together, wean it down a little bit more, because now we've got to put it in front of a board between 8 and 12 people in any given board meeting. Their only concern is it's got to be good. It's our image on the line every time we do this, my friend. It really, really is. So we do not want to damage that in any way. So it's got to come to a certain standard. Once it passes all those, you know, ticks all those boxes, Barbara hands it to me on a USB device that I I Bluetooth it to my stereo in my car. Now, I listen to you in my car for two reasons. First reason is, A, I have to do the interview, so I don't want anybody else influencing me on whether I want to do it or not. You got me?
Right.
Second reason is, well, nobody else wants to drive with me. It's true. Barbara, literally, her husband, or her former husband, used to race cars, literally. Her son is a New Zealand champion car racer. Her grandson is a current New Zealand champion car racer. She won't get in the car with me.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, go figure. Literally. Oh, well, it's just one of those things, really. But as an engineer, I listen to, and believe me, I got a kick-ass stereo in my car, right? And we're in between three major cities, a little milling town in between three major cities, purely economical reasons, to be honest with you. We could do this in Auckland, or we could do this down the bottom of the South Island. It doesn't matter where, we can still get the same effect. So we settled on here because it was more economical for our pockets to be able to employ the amount of people that we do. So, having said that, I absolutely cannot fault your work anywhere. Literally, and I have listened to it like you wouldn't believe, and I do, I really do. So, first of all, give us a shout out for your studio. We record this. Give us a shout out for your producer and of course your master over there, because all of this is really, really good work.
Thank you. So I do all my recording down at Baird Music Group in Nashville, Tennessee. Larry Baird's the owner. His sons, Aaron and Eli, run the studio. Titus, all the guys that work down in that studio are just fantastic. And then my studio engineer is Rob Lane, and he's so easy to work with, and he's so fun to work with. Just has such a good energy about him. And if we throw weird ideas at him, he's always like, yeah, I can do that. And he finds a way. And my producer's Bo Fuller down in Nashville, and just a great dude out of Missouri. And I don't know, man. Every time we get in that room, we just have so much fun. And we're both pretty anal and definitely perfectionists. And it's kind of cool to have a bond like that with someone who has the same expectations as you, who's actually able to pull their own weight and execute what they want to do too. So we work really hard, but I'm really happy with the product that we're turning out. So.
You know, I can relate to that. I really, really can. And believe me, spending many, many years behind consoles of one sort or another, I know what it's like to be a consummate professional. I know what to expect from my artists and what I want to expect from my artists. So I get it. I really do. So I applaud you, sir, for the absolute masterpiece that's been turned out each and every time. Now, but I do want to talk to you about, your truck. Really, I do.
Yeah.
This truck's seen it all.
Yeah.
Yeah? How much is...
Yeah.
If it could talk, what would it tell me?
Oh boy. A lot. I would hope it keep its damn mouth shut. Because that truck's being a little bit too much for my liking. I don't know, man. Like, every turn in my life, the story goes, when I was like 13 years old, my dad came home with a brand new truck. And it was a 2002 Dodge Ram, 1500. It was midnight blue. Had a silver and maroon decal on the side. We installed step rails ourselves, stainless steel light bars on the bottom. The thing was hot. And I inherited it when I was about 20 years old. And that truck went off to college with me. When I got back from The Voice, that truck moved down to Nashville with me. And it was there for all of it, you know. And 2 years ago or so, I had to trade that truck in. Transmission was slipping a little bit, and I knew at some point it was going to be a problem, and I needed something that got better gas mileage, so I traded it in. I kid you not, the very next day the transmission went out. Just she held out for me, and so I wrote a song about it. And I don't know if I wrote that song more for me or for my dad, but I think we both jive with it really hard. You know, we both made a lot of memories in that truck.
Well, I got to let you know, Casey, 2,117 requests so far and still climbing, believe me. It is getting to our audio audience. It really is. It's making a connection, so well done. Right here at Galaxy Live, joined by Casey Muessigmann himself coming out of Iowa. Here is This Truck Has Seen It All. How you feeling, Casey? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I gotta find a phone charger quick.
Go for it.
I know I got one around here somewhere, but my phone just said 10%, and I was like,
Yeah, it
okay.
went off a couple of times.
See you in a minute, bro.
yeah, I'll be right back.
So, Casey Muessigmann, now believe me, you are going to love the next bit of the conversation. You really, really are. Because we're going to play Tune It Up.
Gee, that's a great track.
It is an awesome track. It really is. And then I've got a surprise for you because, believe me, even though it's a cover, perfectly done.
yes.
It really is. And we're going to talk about Black Sheldon. Okay? So now is my chance to hit him up about coming to New Zealand. See if he'll turn it up.
So what do you reckon, guys, we should do then? Oh, look, he's going to turn around here. Hang on, he's back. No, he's trying to find a charger.
Shadow or his ghost, one or the other.
Oh, I think it's going to be
I just have to migrate rooms, man. I can't find a place to plug
We're
this
going
thing
through all his rooms. I should show you. Here we go.
Thank you.
I hope that rush to get something.
Yeah, absolutely.
This will work.
Loving the yellow pants, bro.
Yep.
Don't worry.
I have one of those like really long phone charging cords. I have no idea where it is.
Don't worry. 10 minutes after we leave, you'll find it.
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
It's what I don't need.
it'll be like your transmission, mate. It's there for you. Don't worry. The guy we spoke to before you this morning, he's not only a great artist as far as music goes, but he's a tattoo artist as well. He's a dermatologist.
Oh.
And I asked him if he's got any new tattoos. He goes, only on my legs. Do you want to see? All the women in this room just went, yes.
But he didn't show us.
No.
I wouldn't
We
let
didn't
him.
get to see.
No.
Let's go back to the
It was an
death
ink
row.
moment.
Galaxy FM.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 24 minutes after 12 o'clock midday. I know we're a little late, but we have a good excuse, we do. And I've got a note, all right? 21 degrees right now. It doesn't matter, I've already won. Literally, today's competition between myself, my co-host, and the weatherman, it's a try thing, you know what I mean? And the weatherman can continue to try, he really can. Today, we're joined by the man himself coming out of Iowa. And are you still living in Spencer?
No, I live in central Iowa now. I live in Ames. Ames is pretty much like dead center of the state of Iowa. It's about 25 minutes north of Des Moines, which is the capital. So
Okay.
it's nice. It's like it's big enough that it's considered a city, but it's got a small town vibe to it that I really dig.
I like that, I really, really do. We've got a couple of those around us at the moment, to be honest. One's Whakatane, another one's Rotorua. And I was talking to you when we first started. You didn't actually know a heck of a lot about New Zealand. Literally, believe me, a lot of people don't know a lot about New Zealand. In fact, one young lady I was talking to who came out of Florida, I says to her, do you know the native people here in New Zealand? Have you ever heard of them? She goes, no. I says, they are the Maori. And I says, and a lot of New Zealand cities and towns are named in indigenous language. Te reo, you know what I mean? And she goes, oh, okay. I says, and we have things like, we even name special buildings that way as well. And she goes, like what? And I said,
Really?
we have one of the biggest museums in New Zealand down in Wellington, our capital city. And I said, it's called Whakapapa. I says, can you say that? She goes, there is no way I'm saying that. I said, for real, it is actually called Whakapapa. And it's spelled with a WH, not an F. It is so true. But believe me, Whakatane, believe me, just down the road, Rotorua, which is a very touristy Maori city. And I would really, really like for you to be able to contemplate this, because please, we kind of think that it would be awesome to have you come and play here in New Zealand, if you know what I mean. Once the borders open up and we're allowed to have shows again, and believe me, as I said to you at the top of this, you know, Barbara runs an entertainment company. She does pretty much the logistics, the whole deal. You give her the wish list, she will tick it off as we go, you know what I mean? Right down to, I think she can even find an engineer somewhere. You never know.
Right.
Right? So believe me, we do shows, but we haven't done for a couple of years. What we have done, smaller stuff, I've got to be honest with you, only New Zealand residents, you know, stuff like that. Whereas we want to get back to the international realm. We really, really do, and can't wait. Having said that, if you want to come to New Zealand, and I've got to warn you, my friend, I did kind of give you the hint at the top of the hour, we're kind of crazy here in New Zealand. We do kind of weird and wonderful things. Are you up for a few challenges?
Sure.
They're all laughing
No
now. I got to be honest with you. Have you ever heard of a hoo-hoo grub?
A hoo-hoo grub?
Yeah. Now, most Americans, I got to admit, as soon as you hear the words hoo-hoo going on, yeah, but no. You're familiar with a caterpillar, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. This is not one of them. Literally. Are you familiar with white worm at the bottom of the tequila bottle?
Yeah. for
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Not one of them either, but I do suggest that we have alcohol on hand. This is big, it's white, it's like a double-decker bus to a mini, I got to be honest with you, my friend. And what you do is you put the whole body in your mouth, rip off the head, don't eat the head, it's yucky, but when you crunch down on the body, it's like eating creamy peanut butter.
Really?
Seriously, yes. And in fact, I'll get Barbara to send you the instructional videos. So you know I'm not pulling your leg. We actually do these things here in New Zealand. We do. Now, down in the, you see, New Zealand's made up of 3 islands, which you might find rather amusing actually, because right down the very, very bottom of New Zealand is a little island called Stewart. Now, it's the only island in New Zealand that actually got a name. Literally.
For
Stewart.
real?
Yeah, well, you know, Stewart is a good, manly sounding name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
and then whoever named New Zealand after that ran out of imagination. So the next one in line became South. South Island. Yay. Whoopee. You know, the next one after that, North Island.
Or?
North, yeah, you know, works for them back then. Well, Casey, I'm the kind of guy, I want to name the moon.
You want to name the moon?
Yeah, well, you know, not only just naming South and North Island, I want to give them renames as well, you know what I mean? But I want to rename the moon. Well, look at it this way. You know, scientists every day are finding new Earth kind of Goldilocks type of planets that we're looking at inhabiting. They go ahead, not even asking the inhabitants of the planets if they can name it. They name the planet, then they name the moon, don't they? Yeah?
Yep.
But ours is still called Moon.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, believe me, I want to rename it. I want to give it something steady. Believe me, I've been putting up a petition for a number of years now, and I think, literally, Celestial Body Brian. What do you reckon?
There you go. Brian's not bad.
Yeah, it's
Brian's
steady.
not.
Besides, it would look good on a check, wouldn't it?
What is that?
Yeah.
Literally. Right now, Casey's going, am I talking to a nut or what?
Yes, you're talking to a nut.
But we here at Galaxy, we're actually in the North Island on the East Coast, and believe me, we don't see snow or anything where we are. We complain if it gets down to 0. Too cold, it really is. So it's quite a nice temperature where we are. Now, have you ever heard of Queenstown?
No.
And I don't mean Queensland, that's in Australia, kind of place where all the men wear long dresses and high heels and drive fast and fast cars, call it drag racing. Yeah, as you can tell, we have a brotherly kind of love, a neighbourly love, New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, much like Americans and Canadians in ice hockey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's that friendly banter, right? But in Queenstown, it's a little boutique kind of town. I got to be honest with you, bro. Prior to the pandemic, we used to get a lot of A-listers going there, getting away from the paparazzi and anybody, you know, take your significant other, whatever. You know what I mean? People like Kevin Costner and Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise. They were all quite frequent visitors to Queenstown. But believe me, bro, I got to be honest. You don't want to run into me down there.
What's that?
Yeah, I knew he was going to say why. Literally. Casey, I'll...
Zimmerman. I was like, all right, there's got to be a reason.
Yeah, well, you know, and I'm taking my life in my hands by saying this. Being a wrestler, I'll throw you off a bridge.
He's,
Huh? Feel that? I wrestled too.
Yeah, believe me, you'll probably take me with you at that stage, and I don't mind. I do it all the time. Bungee jumping down there is a huge, huge thing. and we know the guy that introduced it to New Zealand, if you know what I mean. So we would love to take you, do the touristy thing, throw you off a bridge, take you into one of these super jet boats. Check this out, shot over river, huge big super fast jet boat. They turn them inside out, upside down and all around, and I guarantee you, you will not spill your beer.
That's crazy. Yeah, I would try that.
One guy says,
I would
"Why?"
definitely.
Yeah, one guy says to me, "Why wouldn't I spill my beer?" I says, "You know, lids."
Nice.
Lids. You know, we're not backwards here. We put lids on our beer.
Lid.
We put a lid on it. Literally. It's true though, we do. But yes, we would love to show you that. I did say to you about Lord of the Rings as well. About an hour and a half away from where we are right now, Casey, is the original set of Hobbiton. And we'd love to show you through there as well. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd check that out.
The rest of the staff will have to take you through. I'm not allowed back in right now.
I'll see. We'll get you in there.
Believe me, they'll sniff me out. There's been a bit of an issue with one of the security guards that's gone missing somewhere. And even though I deny it to them, I know exactly where it is. Yeah, I did mention Rotorua, right? It's got a big lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the big lake. Had an issue with the security guard, you know. Well, okay. Paybacks are. It's true. Now, at the same time, you never know. Well, you might want to turn it up. You know, you might want to come to New Zealand, get on stage, play in front of New Zealand audiences, play with some of our people as well. Tell me about Turn It Up.
Tell you what.
Tell me about Turn It Up.
Oh, the song?
Yeah, the song.
You know, it was funny because I wrote that song with my producer, Bo Fuller, a gentleman named Will Rambo, and a girl named Bonner Black. And Bo was the only one I'd ever written with. And he kind of set up a co-write with these other couple people. And we were just throwing out ideas. And somebody's playing something on their phone. And I remember one of us saying, "Hey, turn it up." And it was like, "Hey, let's write a song about that." So we wrote it. And then I was trying to round out my last album, Between the Rows. And I just had no idea what the hell I wanted to cut. No idea what I wanted to take to the studio. And so sometimes when I do that, I'll go back through my old voice recordings and my old notes and look for lyrics or ideas. And well, I'll be damned, we wrote this song and it was just buried on my phone. And I was like, I think there's potential here. And Bo was like, "Yeah, I mean, maybe." So we took it to the studio and, I mean, bam. You know what I mean? It just all kind of fell together and ended up being a really cool first song for that CD.
Got to be honest with you, we play you on a Sunday, and we're finding these days, and this is quite true, my friend, that I'm playing more Casey Muessigmann in my breakfast show these days. Believe me, that is fantastic. It really, really is. Turn It Up being one of the more requested songs. Of course, Sweet is coming up after this. I'm going to talk about that, and Blake Sheldon. I promised I would. But right now, we're getting this here at Galaxy, requested so many times. It is making the breakfast show. Here's Turn It Up. How you feeling, my friend?
Good.
Awesome. You don't need a stiff drink by now?
Nah, I'm alright.
Okay. You don't need a counsellor or anything like that?
girlfriend's bringing
I've got a
over
few
spoon.
counsellors.
We got a Body Armor quartz water. It's delicious.
Yum.
The girlfriend's bringing the alcohol.
Believe me, I don't drink water.
Yeah. We'll be right soon.
Oof, gosh, it's hot in here.
Maybe he needs
How long
some
we got?
big brain food.
There you go. You look. Oh, look at that. He looks all refreshed. So tell me. So tell me, am I the first Kiwi you've ever met?
Off the top of my head, I think so.
Yeah, I feel sorry for you.
I think so. I don't know. I went to college with some people from all over the world, but I don't remember anybody saying New Zealand.
Okay,
So
okay.
What about
Yeah.
Australia?
Yeah, what about Australia? I'm sorry.
Has he met
What about
Australians?
Australia? Barbara wanted to know, what about Australia? Have you ever met anybody from Australia?
I went on a cruise before COVID, and there was a couple from Australia on the boat, and they were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, we like.
His name was Nigel.
Yeah, well, that explains everything,
What was
doesn't
her name?
it?
Me, after a couple drinks, I was like, no, give it a
Oh, yeah, they
Her
got
name
the
wasn't
voice.
Sheila, was it?
There you are. No, that makes
Sheila.
too much sense.
Yeah. Oh, like that's
What's
what
your
they
name?
that's what they
I'm
call
like-
their women.
Sheila.
Yeah, that's what they call their women over there. They call them Sheilas.
Hey, Sheila. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen Crocodile done a lot.
There you go.
Well, that's Grant's dad. Crocodile.
Do you know
I'm
something?
gonna go on.
Do you know something? I was touring with a band in New York, and this valet showed me into my room, turns on the TV for me. He goes, I don't know if you got TV in New Zealand, but we have these fantastic shows. And I did the Crocodile Dundee thing on him. I went, yeah, seen that.
Oh my God.
True deal, I did.
Turn it up.
Such a fantastic song, it really, really is, and such a pleasure to be able to play it here on Galaxy. It really, really is. I gotta let you know, loving it, really are. Now, at the same time, my friend, I've been promising everybody, because believe me, we've been getting a few requests, been getting my production manager and my headphones been saying, please, 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 everybody wants to know about Blake Shelton. And, well, you know, we really do have to cover this, especially The Voice Season 3. Now, as I said to you, I don't watch these things, but I have made an exception. I've gone back and gone through the interwebby thing and found out exactly what show you were on and your performance, everything like that. CeeLo Green was involved as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
A double
Yes.
turnaround. A double turnaround. This is really fantastic. Did you expect
Also,
that result?
Going into it, actually, Adam was the one that I wanted. Like, I wanted to be on Adam's team, and then he didn't turn around, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I got two. I'll be all right. So, I don't know, man. It was pretty cool. It was one of those things where it's like, Jesus, just turned around, and it was only like 20 seconds, but it felt like 5 minutes, you know? Then once Blake turned around, I was like, I'm good. I got one. And then CeeLo turned around, and, like, I literally remember thinking, what are you doing? Like, thank you. All right. Like, that's cool, you know? So, it was a pretty surreal experience. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't nervous at all. I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go do the best I can. And if it doesn't turn the chair, then I guess I'm going home. And I don't know, at that point, I'd been out there for like 2 months. So I was like, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if I got sent home and got to go fishing tomorrow. You know, so it's about $8 for a tin of chew out in California. So I was like, man, I'm kind of missing Iowa right now, and I miss my damn dog. And so, no, it was cool. Both those guys turned around. I ended up going with Blake. I'm happy with the decision, you know, and it was cool kind of getting to spend some time around him. And obviously, Michael Bublé was my mentor on that season, and it was cool meeting him. Always liked Michael, and I don't know, man. The whole experience was a good deal. I'd never do it again. People ask me that all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I literally was on that show just because I wanted to try to get a platform to play my music for a living, and that's where I'm at now. So I have no regrets there. Very happy with where I'm at, and I'm just enjoying making my own music and playing shows out on the road. And I feel pretty good about where I'm at right now.
Very nice. Well, I got to let you know, I got a friend of mine who was on the America's Got Talent. Now he actually coaches people who go on that show, if you know what I mean. Gives them a bit of advice, a bit of information, what to expect, how to live, and everything like that. From start to finish, literally a very, very handy man. Unfortunately right now though, Hurricane Ida literally pounded his whole property and everything like that, so he's putting everything back together. But believe me, very, very talented man in his own right, not only as an artist but also as a photographer. He very handy man to know in the professional realm of photography as well. So very talented man, Manny Cabot. And I was just wondering, if somebody approached you, Casey, and said, listen, I'm due to be accepted onto The Voice, would you coach me? Would you let me know what I need to expect? Would you go that far with that person?
You know, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and just mention that they were going to audition. And people reach out to me on Facebook all the time. They're like, just want to let you know I'm thinking about auditioning for The Voice. Do you have any advice? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'll give you what little advice I have. Make sure the songs that you go in there with are the kind of music that you want to sing. Because if you happen to make it through the next round, then you have to sing a certain song, you're going to be married to that song. And you're going to have to sing that song from that moment on. And also just make sure you have fun, because, like, the more time you spend stressing out about the experience, the less time you're spending enjoying it and getting to know the other contestants. And that was my favorite part about the entire show, was getting to meet the people and getting to make the friends. I mean, like, yeah, being on the stages was awesome, but that was like a total of 6 minutes out of 6 months. I mean, you're talking countless hours sitting by the pool, drinking beer, and just enjoying California with a bunch of other people who want the exact same thing as me. I mean, like-minded folks. I just made so many memories out there, and that was the coolest part to me. And I still maintain those friendships, you know. I like go out of my way to try to talk to a lot of people for my season, just because they're good people, and I think they're talented musicians, and I want nothing but the best for them. And if one of us was ever, you know, break and make it mainstream or whatever, I have no doubt that we'd be calling each other to bring them out on the road, to try to give them an opportunity, you know.
That's very, very cool. Now, Casey, at the same time, while doing the show, was it your choice to do this particular track?
Sweet Home Alabama?
Yeah.
Nah. They told me what I was going to sing. They told me what I was going to wear. They helped choreograph the song, and which was nice because, like, you get up there without any idea what you're going to do. You're probably just going to stand there. You know what I mean? So the choreography was cool, but I don't know. I'm a Tennessee Volunteer fan that lives in the state of Iowa, so singing about Alabama for the rest of my life wouldn't have been, you know, priority one. But I love Leonard Skinner. I love that song. I sang it a million times before at karaoke and around, so I already knew all the words. And I don't know. I'm really happy. I'm happy that that's one of the songs that I got to do on the show. It wouldn't have been my first pick, but I'm not mad about it. Like, I love Leonard Skinner, so I mean, there are worse things I could be married to. I mean.
Well, Casey, I don't know whether you want to know this or not, but over 3,700 requests for this particular track here at Galaxy, and it is absolutely climbing. And I'm not telling you, I am not pulling your leg. Monday nights we have you playing. We have you playing on the breakfast show now with Sweet Home. We have you on a Sunday. We have you a number of times on Galaxy, and everybody wants this track. Congratulations. Congratulations, my friend. It is fantastic. And what a great version. Yes, Leonard Skinner cover, but check this out. It is getting hot in here. Yeah, true. We play you so many times, it's not funny, my friend, and it's such a pleasure to be able to play. We even have a cover show that we do on a Friday. With some Fridays, you know what I mean? And we played it last Friday, literally on the cover show. And we just got inundated with people wanting to know who, what, when, where. We had to literally announce it and all sorts of things. So
That's all.
they love it. And we don't call our audience our fans. We call them our audience because that's what they are. They're listening to the music. They're, you know, appreciating damn good music. And how many cities today?
82.
Just 82. Not 282.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
was thinking
Yeah,
of
I was
countries.
worried because, believe me, this
Thinking of
morning there was
countries.
260.
Yeah.
282 cities around the world this morning are tuned up.
Holy smokes. Dang. That's a lot.
As I said, I'll give you the numbers of how many are listening to this interview at the end of this.
I don't even think I can name like 30 cities. I have to like try. Be a lot of towns that would sneak in there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be technical.
Now, these are bona fide cities, they really are. Including St. Petersburg this morning, and Russia is joining us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. It really is nice to have them. We've got a huge amount of people joining us this morning from Uganda.
Really?
Yeah, really left field. I got to be honest with you, they love Barbara.
I believe that.
That is the hook right there. Believe me, she's got this contact. We have an ambassador, literally, for Galaxy in South Africa, and she's his boss, literally, right? He will do anything for her. His name is Melvin, absolute salt of the... Marvin.
Marvin 42.
Absolute brilliant guy, he really, really is.
He's in Uganda.
And Barbara would be the only safe white person in Africa. Literally.
Yeah, would. Got brothers
She
and
would.
sisters there now.
Oh yeah, they're all family.
They
Literally.
are. My group of 58.
Yeah. Anyway, Casey, we're going to wrap this up right here, but don't go anywhere after this because we're going to do a couple of crazy photos, and then we're going to do some crazy photos with you as well. So we'll get you to make some funny faces and stuff. But having said that, we'll give you the copies so that you can put them on your wallpapers on your phone and, you know, show your friends, you know, Kiwis,
That's-
not healthy.
After the bird, not the fruit.
Yep, exactly.
Morningside's got the answer.
Galaxy, Galaxy FM.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Absolute pleasure this morning to be heading all the way over to Iowa and catching up with Casey Muessigmann. I did get that right, haven't I? Muessigmann.
Hmm?
Yep, I haven't mispronounced that in any way.
Nope.
That's not
And
bad.
even if you did, I never yell at telemarketers for saying my name wrong anyway, so I'll be alright.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, just a couple of more questions before we wrap this up, my friend. And first question is, a fan question as of such, literally, we know that we can get hold of you now through Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, but do you have a,
Yep.
a website where we can download music? Do you have a merch store?
I do. We've had a problem setting up the merch store, but it's a priority for us. I do have a website. It's just CaseyMuessigmann.com. If you want merchandise, the easiest thing to do, honestly, is just message my Facebook page, and we can get you hooked up. We haven't gotten the merchandise section of our website set up yet. We're working on it. But we're running into a problem because of COVID, getting merchandise in. Like, T-shirts are just hard to keep in, and hats are hard to keep in. And we'll get an order and fill our merch case up, and I kid you not, 3 days later it'll be empty. People just want they want things right now, you know, and that's a good problem. Like, that's a good deal, but it's kind of hard when you've got, you know, a lot of fans that really want something, and it's like, well, no, we don't have any of that. Yeah, but
Okay.
we'll get there.
Okay. Well, the next thing I'm going to ask you, and this is on behalf of the management here, is once you get your album finished and completed and mastered and everything like that, pressed, how would you like to send a handful of copies down here to New Zealand so that we could do a Casey Muessigmann giveaway? Keep your name
cool.
rolling here at Galaxy. Moreover, and I'm gonna put this right to you because this really happens. In fact, I had an artist admit he did this the other day. Is how would you like to send me one of your T-shirts with your brand on it that I could
for sure.
wear when I'm doing this? And believe me, they go and get on the interwebby thing. Today, Craving Strange. One of the very first interviews we ever did here at Galaxy was Craving Strange. Jimmy and Frank and the boys, brilliant, and love to Mark as well. Believe me, they go and have a look. Before you know it, you've got another $5,000 Twitter, 5,000 Twitter fans or Instagram fans or something following you as well. So it's
For sure.
it's a subliminal thing. You know what I mean?
What size shirt do you wear?
I'll get Barbara to send you all the details. Better that way.
Sure.
But having said that, believe me, as I said, I did have an artist the other day. He says, you were talking to Chris Andreas, and I saw you were wearing his T-shirt, so I went and typed in the name, went and found out who he was, and I went, bingo.
Yep.
It works. He goes, damn well, and I'm sending you a T-shirt. I went, good on you. That is the way to do it.
Yeah, I was already looking at your T-shirt, actually. I've been looking at it a lot of the interview. I was like, that's a cool T-shirt.
It is, and believe me, great band as well. Absolutely stunning. I love these guys, I really do. Now, having said that, my friend, it's all about subliminal messaging. Are you familiar with the Galaxy Artist page on Facebook?
No.
No, I'm not. I was planning on checking you guys out as soon as we get done here.
Yeah, please do, because on the Galaxy Artist page, it's free for you and for all the artists, everything like that. And no matter what you're doing, if you've got a logo, if you've got a poster, if you've got a new album coming out, if you've got a new video, if you're going to the opening of a shoebox, put it on there. Because believe me, bro, people look like crazy all around the world. They could be labels, they could be venue owners, they could be promoters. God only knows who they are. Believe me, there's so many artists these days that have been making it all over the place from other people looking at all their videos and all their participation in Galaxy Artists. It really happens. So we would love to do that. One last thing I'm going to ask you, my friend. Could we consider you to put you into a magazine? And believe me, not just any magazine. I've got to be honest with you, this guy comes out of India, about 8 million people in his region where he is, literally. Very, very accomplished magazine, it really is. And I'm sure he knows everybody by first name in India too, by the way. I really do. But we put some very, very prestigious artists in there. We promote very, very talented people. Are you familiar with Dave Evans? Dave Evans. He's the founder and first former lead singer for the band AC/DC.
Okay.
He's on the cover this month and is one of our artists. We've also had people like Steve Lynch, who was the former lead guitarist for the band Autograph. Turn Up the Radio, great song too, by the way. We've had him on there. Believe me, we only forward talented artists, and we would like to consider forwarding you. Would you mind if we did that?
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that sounds cool to me.
Awesome. I will get Barbara onto that. I told you, everybody needs a Barbara. Literally, they do. So it is an absolute pleasure to have you. Will you come back again? Are you going to write and release new music? Will you drop some more off for us?
Yeah, it sounds fun to me.
Very cool. As I said to you, this was going to be like no other interview that you've ever done before. I'm pretty sure I've kind of accomplished that. I really have. There's only one thing that I haven't asked you, and that basically is, you're not a vegan, are you?
No, dude, I like meat.
Yeah, me too.
In fact, I'm gonna eat a fat ass ribeye for supper.
Well, I'm jealous. I got to be honest with you, but you see, I ask everybody this literally, and you know, I actually once or twice actually ran into a vegan, and I says to this vegan too, by the way, where do you guys congregate? Do you get together on a Friday night, have a few drinks? Because the only place I ever see you getting together is on the news. You know what I mean? I said, you know, if you go out on a Friday night, do you have a few drinks? Just imagine this, you know, you're getting upset with each other, and before you know it, you're out in the car park having a fight. Do you still call it having a beef?
Oh, Jesus.
You know, if you get a slap in the face, it's sort of slap in the chops. But moreover,
It makes sense because we got a term here over in America where if you're just relaxing, they call it vegging out.
yeah, exactly, exactly. You know,
But it's vegan, damn calm. You know, just trying to veg out.
yeah, exactly. And I don't see too many protesters on the rights of a vegetable meal. But having said that, now the reason why I ask you this, and I do ask everybody this, Casey, just to leave you with this thought, is have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
Nope.
Yep. Everybody says, I'm trying to find out if they're made of real vegans or not.
Jesus. Nice.
Casey?
I did try turkey. I tried turkey bacon. I'll never do it again.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Sounds revolting.
Yeah.
Turkey bacon.
I accidentally, they're trying to do this thing where they make like soy burgers now.
Oh.
And I didn't know it was a soy burger. So it looked like a cheeseburger. So I took a bite of it and I was like, I don't know what that was, but I will never eat that again.
Yeah.
I was like that. Taste. It turns out it was a friggin' bean.
Yeah.
No wonder-
Which has, believe me, I've had nothing to do with soy ever, unless it's a sauce. I got to be honest. I like soy sauce, but
No, soy sauce is great.
soy milk.
No.
Now, can you imagine? Where do they get the milk out of it? How do they do that?
Like almond milk, you show me the tit on an almond. I was like that. Cracked me up.
Exactly, literally. Just before we go, and I really want to leave you with this one because I did talk about Steve Lynch from the band Autograph. He said to me one day, he says, Grant, just imagine if your legs bent in the opposite direction. I went, yeah. He goes, can you imagine how interesting chairs would be? Casey, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Looking forward to seeing you again in the future, my friends. For everybody that's followed us this morning on Facebook Live, thank you so much. If you're going to watch over there on YouTube later on, you know what to do. Yeah, sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. Have a good day. Casey, don't go anywhere. But in the meantime, let's do this.
Galaxy
107 FM Kawerau.